What's going on, Nasteey Nation? It's Nasteey, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over one of the most anticipated topics in the League of Legends community, and that is how the hell do you escape low elo while playing support? It seems like there are two sides of the spectrum. There are the people in the League of Legends community that think support is the easiest role in the game, and then there's the support mains who have experienced this role a lot and understand how difficult it can actually be to play this role and to climb while playing this role. As someone who has been playing this game since Season 3, and as someone who has been as low as Silver in this game, I can tell you guys firsthand from my experience playing support and climbing out of low elo what I believe is the best go-to tips and tricks and just overall advice to get out of this elo hell. But before we do get into the video, I just wanted to quickly let you all know about the giveaway that I'll be running on today's video. So for today's video, I'll be giving away some of the Spirit Blossom Vayne codes. These are the league partner codes that'll unlock both the Champion Vayne if you don't already own her, and it'll also unlock the Spirit Blossom Vayne skin. All you have to do for a chance to win one of these codes is drop a like on the video, make sure that you are already subscribed to the channel, and go ahead and comment down below letting me know what region you're in. Best of luck in the giveaway and enjoy the video. So for starters, one of the first things that I want to talk about is going to be your champion pool. And there's a lot of different aspects to the champion pool that will have a large impact on whether or not you're climbing or not while playing support. The first thing that I want to talk about in regards to the champion pool is the type of champions that you're playing and how comfortable you are playing these champions. So for example, in high elo, there are not a lot of players. So when you do get into these games, the skill difference between one player and another is going to be pretty slight. In games like that, the difference is often going to come down to how OP the champion is, not how comfortable you are on the champion. However, since there are so many players in low elo, when you get into these games, the difference between one player and another is going to be a lot bigger just because of how many players there are in that elo. And in a circumstance like this, the main difference isn't going to be how OP your champion is in comparison to the enemy's champion. It's going to be how comfortable you are on these champions. So my first piece of advice when it comes to your champion pool and overall when it comes to trying to escape low elo while playing support is to play champions that you're comfortable on. I know that there's a lot of YouTube videos out there that'll tell you what champions are OP, what runes and builds are OP, but my advice to you is to ignore all of that. Don't care about what's OP, don't care about what's a meta, just focus on what you're most comfortable on, and that'll give you the edge over your opponent. At the same time though, with all of that being said, there are specific support champions that will give you a little bit more of an advantage over your opponent if these are champions that you're also comfortable on. These champions are going to include the AP support champions like Brand or Zyra, and the playmaking support champions. This includes stuff like Alistar and Leona. Overall, support just doesn't typically have a lot of carry potential, so you want to try to boost that carry potential in any way that you can, and AP supports allow you to do a lot of damage and carry games that way, and playmaking engage supports, they allow you to make plays and allow you to carry the game that way. Both of these types of champions are going to allow you to have a little bit more impact in your game while playing support. Again though, this isn't supposed to contradict my first point that I made about playing comfort champions. So if you do have a champion like Brand, Zyra, Alistar, or Leona, like the champions I mentioned, those champions are in your champion pool already, then I would recommend playing them. But if they are not in your champion pool already, if you're not comfortable with them, then I wouldn't recommend picking them up. And one final note that I do want to mention about the champion pool and how your champion pool can have such a large impact on the support role is to try to avoid playing high skill cap champions, because there are quite a few champions in the support champion pool that are just way too difficult for low elo players to try to pull off. The main champions that come to mind are Thresh and Bard. Both of these champions have extremely high play rates in low elo when they simply don't work. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and look up the research yourself. These champions all have really high play rates in low elo while also having around a 46-47% win rate. I don't mean this as an insult at all, but if you are a lower ranked player, that just means that you don't have quite as much skill as this champion requires in order to play them efficiently. So just to summarize again everything that I had to say about the champion pool, try to play champions that you're comfortable on, try to play AP supports or playmaking supports if possible, and overall just avoid high skill cap champions. My next piece of advice that I'll offer to you guys that'll help you escape low elo while playing support is to learn how to identify your carry. I think that the problem here is every support player ever, when they learn the game, they're told that they're supposed to protect their ADC at all costs and play around their ADC at all costs. And although the ADC is the champion that you ideally want to snowball, you want your ADC to be ahead, you want to try to keep your ADC alive, you want to try to win lane overall, and after all, you are spending the majority of your time with the ADC. But even then, low elo players have to understand that your ADC is not always going to be your carry. And in these low elo games, if you want to have an impact and continue to be supportive of somebody on your team, you have to learn how to identify your carry and learn to adapt to support them instead of your ADC. Now, by no means am I saying that if your ADC dies once, twice, or even 3 times in the lane phase, that you should just completely abandon them and never help them out the entirety of the game. But instead, what I'm saying is when it gets to that mid to late game, when you start looking to team fight and you find yourself in a situation, let's say you're playing Nami, for example, your ADC is low health, but your 10-0 mid laner is also low health. As Nami, you're going to choose to heal your mid laner over your ADC because that is now your carry. This might seem like a dumb piece of advice to most people, but you'd be surprised just how many low elo players are still trying to protect their ADC in situations like that. The next thing I want to discuss is kind of similar to identifying your carry, and that is learning how to adapt with the game. Just like identifying your carry, as your ADC falls further behind in the game, you have to adapt with the game and try to figure out a new carry. But what I mean here when I say adapt with the game is try to learn all of the other different things that you have to adapt to. This is going to include a ballpark of things, including where you should be on the map, what objectives you should be controlling, if you should be trying to fight or if you should avoid trying to fight, if you should be trying to siege or if you should be letting the enemy siege. These are all things that you need to get a better understanding of and learn how to adapt as the game progresses. Obviously, the main objective in League of Legends is to try to destroy the enemy nexus, but if you go into the game with the mindset of all I'm going to do is push and push and push until we destroy the enemy nexus, you're ultimately going to lose the majority of your games. I guess another way of putting this is learn to stay on your toes and don't be afraid to take steps backwards, because sometimes taking a step backwards is ultimately going to allow your team to take 2 steps forward when the time comes. I feel like this piece of advice might have been a little bit all over the place, so let me just give you guys a couple examples. So for example, I play Bard a lot, and when I pick Bard, usually I'm just picking Bard for his utility, but then by the time I get into a game, I can't just play Bard one way. Although his utility is still there, he has a lot of build options, and now I have to adapt with the game. If I find myself in a game where the enemy team is dealing a lot of AP damage, I can't just play one way and I can't continue to build Deadmans and Rapid Fire like I would typically do, because what that does is, although it's a good build typically, it doesn't allow me to build any magic resist for the AP damage. So this is a situation where I would obviously adapt, and instead of building Deadmans and Rapid Fire, I would maybe build something like Unholy Grail or Locket. And before I move on, I'll just throw out another example. So let's say your team has Dragon Soul Point, meaning that you guys already have 3 dragons, you just need 1 more for that Dragon Soul buff, and your team is heading towards the Dragon Pit to take that dragon, and one of your teammates dies. Obviously, the goal there was to get the Dragon Soul, but now that teammate has died, what you should probably do instead is learn to adapt, change your game plan, back off, allow the enemy team to take the dragon, and although it's not ideal, you didn't get what you wanted, because a teammate died, you now have to adapt and change your game plan. You can no longer go for that Dragon Soul at that point in time, but you can take 1 step back, wait for the next dragon to spawn, and then take 2 steps forward and take the Dragon Soul when the time comes. Now, the next and final thing that I want to talk about deals with this idea that although support can be a strong role at times, and even though the champions in the support role can be strong at times, overall, the support role isn't a good role to play in solo queue because it lacks carry potential. And that has always been the biggest issue with support, and that's a big issue that I don't think a lot of people understand. But as support mains, we have to understand that, and instead we have to try to figure out a way to make up for it. I may not have the same amount of items as the other roles in the game, the same amount of damage as the other roles in the game, or the same amount of gold income as the other roles in the game, but what I do still have is my voice and my ability to lead my team in the right direction. So as a support, I feel like it's my responsibility to try to shot call as much as possible and lead in any way that I possibly can. Now, this piece of advice I do want you guys all to take with a grain of salt, because this isn't something that you can just start doing immediately. If you don't have a good understanding for shot calling, what you're actually going to end up doing is hurting your team more than helping your team. If you're shot calling incorrectly and leading your team to bad situations, you're gonna end up losing the game for your team very easily. So instead, what I encourage you to do is try to be more aware of the things that are happening in the game. Try to figure out what things are going right, what things are going wrong, and as time progresses, try to figure out your proper way of shot calling. And again, this is something that literally anybody else in the game is capable of, but because all these other people have all these additional benefits, every other role in the game has the gold, the items, and the additional damage that the support doesn't have, I feel like it is my role as a support to do anything I can to make up for that lacking. So I guess at the end of the day, what I'm advising to all of you who are looking to escape low elo while playing support, if you guys are looking to get out of that elo hell while playing support, my advice to you is to play comfort champions. Play champions that are either AP supports or engage playmaking supports if possible. Again, avoid high skill cap champions, learn how to identify your carry, learn how to adapt with the game, whether that be going to a different objective or building differently, and finally, learn how to shot call and lead your team to victory in any way that you can. Well, alright then, ladies and gentlemen, that should just about wrap up the end of this video. If you guys did go on to enjoy it again, then be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and be sure to drop a comment down below letting me know what your thoughts were on this video. I would just like to quickly thank every single one of you guys who did stick around to the very end of the video. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.